be looking at my computer, and I'm going to also be looking over at the screen today. So if you tuned in, welcome to Thursday's Thread. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about weaving narrow bands. Now that's something that I never thought I'd do. I really like weaving yardage, but a couple years ago one of my friends in our guild gave us a demonstration on weaving some bands. So I thought, let me give that a try. I tried different things like backstrap weaving, also ankle looms and some other devices, but decided that I really like to use a rigid Heddle loom. So let me just show you some bands that you can make just to get started. And if you are tuned in, great. I may or may not be able to answer some of your questions right away, but I'll try to answer them at the end if you have any. Well, this is a band. It's basically a very basic band, just called a plain weave warp faced. This is another one. You could put all these pretty colors in and have a rainbow color. This is another one. I just finished this one not too long ago. It was kind of fun. I'll show you a book that I use as a reference. This is another one that I decided that I was going to try to make into a leash. So I basically sewed that on. That's also another pattern, kind of a recipe that you can use. Most of the yarn on all of these is a pearl cotton, a 5-2 or a 4-2. However, you can also use some heavier yarns that may be a little bit softer. And here's another sample of another yarn that's a little bit softer and thicker. And what are you going to do with these bands? Well, here's a guitar strap you could make. You can also use bands for purses and other things. So those are just some samples. And the book that, almost forgot. If you are watching live and you say hello, one of you will get a coupon to spend $10 in the Etsy shop. So just, if you're there, say hello live, and your name will be put in the drawing. So one of my friends suggested this book, and it has a lot of nice recipes and patterns in it. So if something that you're not familiar with doing, you can give that a try. And here are some of the samples of some of the patterns that you can use. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to focus on the loom and show you a couple of things that you can, how I use the loom, and a couple of shuttles. So give me a moment while I focus on the loom. Okay, and I'm going to move my computer, so if anyone has any questions and you are watching, I may be able to answer them, or at least see that someone's out there. And this is recorded, so if it's something that you're going to watch later, hopefully you'll be able to see it. So now let me reorganize everything here. Well, I don't think I can see the comments right now. So, anyway, we'll scroll down here. See what we can do. Okay, all right. So, right before I started, I almost couldn't find my shuttle. Now, let's see if we can see the shuttle here in the picture. Okay, here's a shuttle that I use. It's basically it's kind of sharp, narrow at one end and a little rounded at the other end. Because most of the time when you use a rigid Heddle loom, I'll put this down for a moment, we weave this way. Cut it up. And you bring this in as your beater. In this particular case, when you're weaving ankle-like weaving, which you can use an ankle loom, I don't have one or I would show you, you're going to do it a little bit differently. This is going to be your beater. Your shuttle is going to be the beater. Now what I did was I wound the yarn on the top in a figure 8. And let me show you how you can do that. A lot of people like to use maybe smaller little tiny shuttles like this. This is some handiwork of my husband's. I'm going to put it on the floor. I'm going to show you how we wind a shuttle to use for ankle. So I usually go around once, and then we're going to make a figure 8. Let me scroll my computer. Whoops. There we go. Make sure I can see it. So we make a figure 8 around the top. Now the reason I do this is that you want the yarn all on one side because the other side is going to be the beater and you're going to use that to pull in. So obviously you don't want to yarn on that side. And you can fill it up pretty much, and you also don't have a lot of yarn piling up. Again, this is something you can find in other books, and then obviously you would cut that off. I'm not going to use that one today. I'm going to use the other one that I have here. So first of all, the rigid Heddle Loom is in the rest position. So you're going to go up or down. I'm going to push it down. I'm going to put this cardboard in. The reason I'm putting the cardboard in, and I'm going to put it back up, is that it gives me a little bit of something to start with. So what I can do without even putting any yarn in, I can kind of push this all down. So I'm really going to start weaving right there, at that spot there. All right. So right now, this is up, the shed is open, this is our shed. We're going to tuck or take the shuttle through, and I like to wind it around the end there, and I'm going to pull it all the way through. Now later on, that will be cut off. When you're doing a warp-faced product, the goal is to hide the weft, this yarn, to hide it so you don't see it. So all you're going to see, actually, let's see if I can find the one that looks about like this. So when you're finished, you don't see all the yarn inside. And the other thing is, what I like to do is whatever yarn is on the edge, that's the color that I use to weave with. Now this yarn happens to be, I believe, a 3-2, and I'm weaving with a 5-2. It makes it a little bit easier to kind of hide it in. All right, so we have it in the shed. I took it through. Now we're going to go down and every other thread. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to first of all take this and beat it. Now right now at the beginning is always a tricky part, trying to get that started, to get it all together. And it might take a few times back and forth until you can hide it. All right, so I'm going to bring that through. And now we're going to go the other direction. Go back up. Take the shuttle through again. And remember, this is the beater now. So I'm going to push it through. I like to use a larger one. I know we have the smaller, but I like to use that. For me, it helps me really push and pull that back. So we're going to take the next one. Now the other thing is you tug a little bit. And if you can tell, there's a little bit of an angle in there. Just a tiny bit of an angle. A little bit of a tug. Push it all the way down. And again, we're going to go back the other direction. And we're going to beat it. Now I also sometimes pull it tight this way. But basically pushing it down. Okay, you can almost see now, we're getting to see the pattern. Pull that through, and again, a little bit of a tug. Take it up to the top. Of course, this is the way I do it. You might find someone else that has another way of working this. A lot of different people out there with their own opinions. So again, this is my opinion. Bring it through, and again, maybe a little bit of tug. Really pull it. Take it through, your shuttle goes through, stick shuttle, again a little bit of a tug, pull all the way back down, pull toward you, maybe a little bit of a tug. The tricky part is to keep it nice and even. Again, a little tug that way. Now we're going to go back up. Again, this is my beater. I'm going to pull it toward me. A little tug. Just a little bit of a tug. And this will come out. I can take that out at any time. It's just kind of getting us started. A little tug there. Now we go back down. Now I believe this is a 12 dent reed. Yeah, this is a 12. You can get a 15 dent also. It depends on your, again, tug a little bit. Back up. Depends on the weight of your yarn. The heavy yarn I had, I believe I used an 8 dent. Pull it through. A little tug there, get that through. Bring it all the way through. Go down. And then we're going to beat it again. pull it through. Back up the other direction, and then you bead it. Now I believe the pattern that I'm doing, I don't know if I can find it in the book. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is the pattern I'm doing. But the pattern I chose, I changed the color. This is a little bit different in color. You can see it there. There are 39 warp threads in that pattern. Give you a little bit of an idea of what it could look like. And what's nice is it's basically easy. It's up and down, and you can design your own patterns if you'd like to. It's kind of very relaxing, but again, we found that when I've done some classes that just getting this even, it seems to wiggle wobble after a while. And it takes practice, just like anything else. It's a very slow process. For if you've seen me weave on my floor loom, it's a little faster. But it's kind of nice to do something a little different, maybe something a little decorative. So of course this loom could also be used for narrow scarves or maybe mug mats, something like that. So that gives you a little idea of using a rigid Heddle loom to do some band weaving in all different colors and you can do and use. So, moving the camera on you there, don't worry, we're okay. Okay, hey, okay, now I can see who's watching. Now, if anyone has any questions, I'm trying to look in my computer, but I can only see the people that are in the list here. Hey there, great, great. All right, glad you say you're watching and so on. I'm gonna turn the camera back up to me so you can see me at the end there. If anyone's interested in learning how to do this, you are also welcome to contact me. Okay, I'll come back over here so we can see who's talking. When you do these one-person shows, it's kind of hard to do it correctly, and then you get caught on things. So excuse the movement of the camera there. The camera girl is not doing very well. So anyway, so I'd like to try to get back into seeing the comments or questions. Seems like that's not going to happen on that place, though. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to, let me get back up here so I'll make sure I'm not chopping my head off. Okay, I'm not. Good. If you have any questions, please jot them down. I'll be happy to get back to you. And again, if anyone is interested in learning how to weave on a rigid Heddle loom or anything else, give me a call. I can help you out. And I'm thinking next week of two options. I'm either going to do the anatomy of a loom or two looms, showing you the difference between a jack loom and a counter marsh loom. Or I might think, some people have been asking about how do I get good selvages when I'm weaving? What's the trick? Are there tricks? And I've been reading a little bit up and realizing some of the things that I do seem to go along with some of the techniques some other weavers suggest. So I might do that, but I will make an announcement as to what it is that I'm going to do next week. So you're welcome to tune in, and I don't think I'm going to get that band done by next week, but I did get the scarves finished. So if those of you watched when we were doing the winding on the warp for the hand-spun scarves, I did get both of those done, and I posted those. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. We'll see what's going on in the studio. So everyone take care and have a good evening. Ah.